Hello everybody, hope you guys had a very nice break and I'm back. I know I've been gone for a couple videos, but I thought you guys learn things a different way from someone else telling you instead of just me. But anyways, I thought I'd come back and show you guys how to find the volume of a cone in some problem solving. Alright, and that means the diagram's not drawn for you. You're going to have to go ahead, you're going to need to draw the picture yourself to figure out what to do. Now if we look here, it says the mold of a cone has a diameter of 4 inches and is 6 inches tall. What is the volume of the cone mold to the nearest tenth? Okay, now, so first of all, what we should do is we should go ahead and draw this picture. Now, hopefully y'all remember what a cone looks like, okay? So here we have a cone. Let's draw it right quick. Okay, I'm going to draw it like so. I got a nice little circle on top. The cone comes down. Look at that. Looks kind of like an ice cream cone, don't it? Kind of nice. Now, anyways, so let's read the problem and fill out some numbers here. What it says here, it says the mold of a cone has a diameter of 4 inches. Now remember what diameter means. Diameter means that it is the distance from one side of the circle to the other going through the center. All right, so here's the center of the circle. The diameter is going to go straight across this way, and that's 4 inches. Okay. Then it also says that the height and is 6 inches tall. So what that means is this cone right here, from this point right here up to the center, if I were to draw this, see like this? This making that right angle, this is going to be 6 inches. So we need to use this information in order to figure out the height, the volume of the cone. Now, if we remember what our formula was for the volume of a cone, if we remember, it is the volume equals 1/3 the pi r squared times the height. This is our formula for the volume of a cube, of a cone. So to do this, if you notice, we know everyone should know pi, okay? Pi is equivalent to 3.14. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to use this. We're going to say the volume is going to equal 1/3 times pi. Now we should know that pi, once again, is 3.14. Then we need to know the radius. Now if we look up here, we do not have a radius. What we have is a diameter. Diameter goes all the way across. The radius is just from the center to one side of the circle. So see, the radius would just be this little point right here. The radius would be this little guy right here. Well, how do we find that? Well, if the diameter is the whole way and the radius is only half of the way, we just divide the diameter by 2. So what's 4 divided by 2? It's 2. So that means that my radius is going to be 2 inches. So when I plug this into my formula, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say that my radius is 2. Don't forget that squared. And then we're going to multiply it times the height. Now what's the height? The height, we said, is 6 inches. So I'm going to put a 6 in here like so. Now all we got to do is do a whole lot of multiplication, right? Now remember, the first thing you want to do when you multiply, you want to get rid of this exponent, okay? Remember them order of operations, don't forget it. So I'm going to get volume is going to equal 1/3 times 3.14 times 2 squared is 2 times 2, and that's 4, times 6. Now at this point, you can kind of do what you want. You can multiply how you want. But I'm going to tell you a trick right quick, okay? Doesn't work all the time, but it does work in a lot of these problems, okay? If you notice, you have on your fraction, because you're going to multiply by this fraction, you have a denominator of 3, okay? Now, what you want to do is you want to look at the rest of your numbers up here, okay? And you want to ask yourself, can you do any cross cancel? Now, cross cancel means that you're going to be canceling out this 3 with one of these numbers. Now, if we look, the 3 and the 6 can cross cancel, okay? So, if we cross cancel these numbers, this 3 would become 1, this 6 would become 2, and then we'd multiply, okay? And it'd be very simple to do. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the other way. And you can do that if you want, but that doesn't work all the time. So what I want to do is I want to explain how to do this problem without doing that, so you know what to do for all the problems. All right? So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to multiply 4 times 6 because I want to multiply that first. What's 4 times 6? 24. So what I get here is I'm going to get volume's going to equal 1 over 3, that's an ugly 3, 1 over 3 times 3.14 times 4 times 6 we said is 24. Now we're going to go ahead and multiply 24 times 3.14. Okay, so I'm going to take my 3.14 right here, that's my pi, and multiply it by 24. Now I don't have any calculator, so I'm going to go ahead and just multiply this out. Now if we look, 4 times 4 is 16, carry the 1. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 1 is 5. 4 times 3 is 12. Look at that. Then what we're going to do is now I'm going to cross that off and bring down that 0. Now let's multiply the 2. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 1 is 2. And 2 times 3 is 6. Now I'm going to add all these up. Now when I add them up, look what I get. I get 6. 5 plus 8 is 13. Carry that 1. 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. And 6 plus 1 is 7. Don't forget, you have 2 numbers behind your decimal, so you're going to need to move this decimal twice to the left. So what we have now is this. We got the volume is going to equal 1 over 3 times 75.36. Now let me tell you right now, the best way to do this now is just take these two, take this 75.36 and divide it by 3. Because when you're multiplying by a fraction, folks, really it's the same thing as dividing. So we're going to divide 75.36. We're going to divide that by 3 and see what happens. All right? So let's divide it. 3 goes into 7 2 times. 2 times 3 is 6. Subtract, you got a 1. Bring down that 5, right? Now 3 goes into 15 5 times. So we're going to bring that, multiply by 5. 5 times 3 is 15. Subtract. Look at that. That's a 0. What I do at this point, you see this decimal right here? I'm going to bring this straight up so I don't forget about it. Then I'm going to bring down that 3. Now, how many times 3 go into 3? Once. So I'm going to put a 1 right here. 1 times 3 is 3. Subtract. Look at that. No remainder again. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring down this 6 right here. Look at this. Bring it down. And 3 goes into 6. 2 times. So I'm going to put a 2 here. So what I have here, so I got my volume, okay, and I'll write it right here. The volume is going to equal 25.12. Now we think we're done, but we didn't answer the question correctly. See, because the question says, what is the volume of the cone mold to the nearest tenth? You see that right here? That means we have to round. Okay, now hopefully y'all remember how to round. Now remember, to round this number right here, 25.12, we're rounding to the nearest tenth. The tenth is the first number after the decimal, okay? So we're going to round to this number right here. So we look at the 2 and we ask ourselves, is that 2 5 or above or less than 5? If it's less than 5, you leave that 1 alone. If it's 5 or above, you're going to add 1 to the 1. Okay? So what is it? That 2 is less than 5, so what we're going to do is we're going to leave the 1 alone. So the answer to this question is going to be volume equals 25.1. Am I done? Nope. Because what are we talking about here? What kind of units of measure are we using? We are using inches, right? And so if we're using inches, notice we took 1, we took 2, 3 numbers, we multiplied them together with inches. So that means that we're going to have inches cubed. Now that right there, folks, that's our answer, okay? 25.1 inches cubed, all right? Now, I made a little mistake. I don't know if any of y'all caught it though, okay? Let me tell you a couple of things. First of all, is pi really 3.14? No, that's an approximation. Next, you see how we rounded? We don't have an exact answer. So is it truly equal? No, it's approximately 25.1. Okay, so what that means is we really shouldn't have equal signs there because it's not truly equal. What they are is this is approximately. You see those little squiggly equal signs? That means approximately. So this is our answer. The volume of this mold is approximately 25.1 inches cubed. And that's all we got to do. All right? So I want y'all to go ahead, finish up this worksheet, all right? There's a special problem at the end. Oh, that's a toughie, but it's a good one, all right? So you guys give it a shot, take your time, and I hope y'all learned something. Thank you.